What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're playing Emperor Apatzec in Intli the Fourth, I believe is what that is. Emperor Apatzec Intli the Fourth. Forgive me if I said that wrong. Anyway, it's a Naya commander. It is an alchemy card, which I normally steer away from, but this one was a deck request by one of my subscribers. So Emperor Apatzec is a legendary creature, obviously human noble, 3/4, with some cool abilities. So whenever another creature you control enters, that creature perpetually gains haste if its power is 4 or greater. If its toughness is 4 or greater, you gain 4 life. If its mana value is 4 or greater, seek a creature card. Seek being essentially put a creature card from your deck into your hand. So, you know, if you build the deck around these abilities, you can hit all 4 if you have a creature with at least 4 power, at least 4 toughness, and is 4 mana value or higher. You can get haste, gain 4 life, and refill your hand with another creature card. I think the most important ability on this card is the Seek ability to get to. It's essentially card draw. You can just view Seek as draw a creature card from your deck. So while something green decks struggle with is card advantage. Or creature decks in general struggle with card advantage. So we play a creature, we get a creature back. We play a creature, we get another creature back. So I think that's what I focused on for this deck. And we'll go through the deck list right now. This intro will be a little longer than normal because the subscriber that requested the deck was having trouble building it. So I'm going to go through my thoughts of how I put it together, and after testing it, some of the changes I made. So bear with me. If you want to skip right to the games, there's time markers on the video. Go ahead and skip right to game 1. So, I tried a couple different versions of this deck. The first deck I built was like your standard, deck that was trying to ramp into, Emperor on turn 3, right? It's 3 colors, so there's no way to really play this faster than turn 3. Maybe turn 2 if you get lucky and you have like a turn 1 Llanowar Elf and you have the perfect lands in your hand. You can do this on turn 2. But irregardless, that was the point of the deck. Get this down as soon as possible and then start chaining off, creature spells to get card advantage and win the game that way. And what I found was trying to play this deck fast or faster than your opponent just doesn't work. It's too difficult to mana fix for the 3 different colors, get Emperor down, then protect it, because as soon as Emperor comes down, your opponent's going to remove it, and then it costs 5 mana. And also have the engine work. It's too many things. Maybe in Commander, I don't know if this has a paper variant that's sometimes alchemy cards actually have a paper variant. If there is a paper variant of this card, I could see it working in Commander just fine in the way that I just said. You get it down on turn 3, no one's going to remove it. It's not powerful enough for people to remove, but as the game goes on, you accrue value just from playing your deck. Doesn't work that way in Historic Brawl. Historic Brawl, or Brawl as they call it now, people are just going to remove your commander on sight. They know that your deck is built around your commander, so the first opportunity they get to remove it, they're going to do it. And then against other aggressive decks, what would happen is this is just too slow. So against decks that don't remove Emperor Apatzec, they are faster than us, so we get ran over too quickly. So it was like in either scenario, whether we were playing against a deck that removed it or a deck that didn't, we were losing those games. So I added some interesting cards that you might not think would go in a creature deck, but hear me out. So here's one right here. Begin anew. Destroy all creatures. Creature cards in your hand perpetually get +1/+1. Now you may be thinking, why would I run a board wipe in my creature deck? That's counterintuitive, right? Why would I blow up all my own stuff? Well, the game plan of this deck, since it's innately slower than everything else, is to ramp the first couple turns. And as you can see, we have a ton of ramp. So this is a big mana deck. And the new goal of the deck is to spend the first couple turns ramping, ideally land ramping, so that we can get a bunch of lands out. And we do have your typical mana dorks, but we don't want to blow up our own mana dorks ideally, right? But they're there in case we need them. So we do have a selection of land. This one's a land ramping mana dork, which is great. But we do have mana dorks that we really just need ramp. So we ramp into a point in the game, and we have enough of these destroy all creature effects, vanquish the horde, onto inversion if you get to 8 mana, farewell, right? We have enough of these in the deck where we should get one in our first 10 cards. So we ramp, we let the opponent play out their whole hand, then we board wipe them. At this point we're probably at 7 or 8 mana, right? So maybe we cast this board wipe, all our creatures get +1/+1, and then we play our commander. And now our opponent has like 2 cards in hand, right? And that's where we can begin the engine of this deck. We allow the opponent to get drawn into the game, try to, play faster than us, and then we just board wipe them. And now we have a ton of mana. Maybe we drop a Mirari's Wake, so we have double mana. And now we can just start dropping our commander and all of our haymaker, creatures, and start getting all these triggers. And then it becomes too much value for the opponent to overcome. So it's a little counterintuitive, but like as you can see, this whole first half of the deck is pretty much just ramp cards. So the goal is like turn 4-5, have 7-8 mana, cast a board wipe the board, and then start deploying our stuff. There are, like Begin Anew is actually a good board wipe. Even if we have to wipe some of our own creatures, it still gives us a benefit, right? Creature cards in your hand perpetually gives +1/+1. So that's a nice little bonus. So it's not like we get nothing out of the board wipe, even if we have to wipe some of our own creatures. Same thing with like Cleansing Nova. So we can destroy all creatures, or if we don't need to wipe the board, but we're playing against an artifact deck or an enchantment deck, which they do exist in the format, we can use, this is modal, so we can use it to blow up all artifacts and enchantments. Same thing with Farewell. Obviously we can, exile all creatures, which is handy, especially against indestructible creatures and things like that. But we can also not choose that mode if we don't want to, and we can just exile all artifacts, all enchantments, and all graveyards if we need to. Right, so there are some there's some flexibility with the board wipes I chose. I didn't just throw in Wrath of God. You'll notice Wrath of God's not in here. It's too it doesn't give us any opportunity in any other situation to do something different with it, right? It doesn't give us any other benefit. Settle the Wreckage is another nice one. So this is a one-sided board wipe. So let's say we're facing out an aggro deck and they attack all. Well, we can just exile their whole entire board with Settle the Wreckage, and it doesn't affect our creatures. So that's the thought process behind the board wipes I chose. They're definitely board wipes that will do what I said before, where we can wipe the board. But in situations where we don't need to wipe the board, we can still use these cards, so they're not useless in our hand. Vanquish the Horde is probably the only one that's like closest to Wrath of God, but it's just so cheap, So like if they have 4 creatures down, this is only 4 mana. If they have more than that, or we have a creature plus their 4 creatures, then there's lots of times I fire this off for 2 mana, which is super nice, because then we can pay 2 white, cast this, and cast some of our own stuff in the same turn. Otherwise, like I said, the deck is ramp, some selective board wipes, and then it's all the stuff you would expect. It's all the stuff that's 4 mana with either 4 toughness or 4 power, right, that have some type of enter the battlefield ability or some type of, card advantage engine ability. Radagast is a must include for green decks. It's wonderful card advantage. In fact, it's a great commander if you ever want to build a mono green creature deck. Over 4 toughness, 4 mana value, so we get 2 triggers there. All these cards that come in and they give us something. Like this guy gives us a free card, whether we want Savage Stomp or Naturalize, depending on the situation. And it's 4 mana value, 4 power, and over 4 toughness. So lots of cards like that. Roxanne, which we all know. Goldspan Dragon is another one of those. So these are all cards that we basically see in all decks that they fit in anyway, but they fit all of our criteria and give us at least 2 or more of the triggers from Emperor Apatzec. And then we have our haymakers down here, your Emrakuls, your Ulamogs, Craterhoof Behemoth. Zatalpa is one that a lot of people don't know about, but this one is really hard for people to deal with. Flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, indestructible. It's quite the insane creature. So I recommend that one. And it won't die to our own board wipes. So unless we farewell it, but for the destroy all creatures, like it would destroy everything but this. So that's pretty devastating. Primeval Titan, Vorinclex, it's just creatures that essentially come down and give us value in one way or another. Vorinclex is a hasty 6/6 with trample, and then obviously it has the abilities on there where we can get more counters on our stuff and sort of stacks out the opponent's counter strategy. Primeval Titan, ramp 2 lands, so even if they snap removal this, we still get, we still ramp ourselves 2 lands, and if they don't get rid of this, we start spiraling out of control. Trumpeting Carnosaur, it can be a 3 mana discard, do 3 damage to anything, or it's a 6 mana, discover 5/7/6 with trample. So some really cool stuff in here. So let's get into the games. Typical mana base, it's all your fetches and stuff. There's no Nykthos in here. It was too inconsistent. We don't have enough of one color to run Nykthos in my opinion. If you want to run Nykthos, that's fine, but I took it out. It's mainly just to color fix. And we have, how many lands? We have 36 lands and like 8 MDFCs. So we have plenty of mana. So we have like 44 sources of mana. So yeah, let's hop into the games. Hopefully the games that I play today represent the deck well. I will tell you that through my testing, like I said, when I did the deck changes and I eventually landed on this version, it was pretty rough up until then. But after I changed to this version, I want to say my win rate was like 75%, and that was out of like 10 or more games. So we'll see how it gets represented today. Obviously, I can't control the matchups we get in this video, but I just wanted to say that off camera it did really well. So I still stand behind this deck list. Sometimes when I pop up the deck to record, it doesn't always play out the way that it did when I was testing it, but I think the testing results are almost more important because I was able to play more games. Like, this is already a tough matchup, Nicol Bolas, right? Because they're a Grixis control deck. So we're already behind the 8 ball, and they get to go first. But we'll try. It doesn't mean we can't win. It's just our I would say against a deck like this, we need to be faster. No green source. Why is this in my opening hand twice? Come on, Shuffler. Well, go down again. I mean, this is a lot of ramp. I guess we'll try this. I don't think we need this in our opening hand. So, yeah, I mean, against a control deck, you ideally want to be faster than them, so that's what we're going to try to do. So go for the swamp. Probably running Blood on the Snow or something. Let's just get a Surveil land and try to fix our, or set up rather our coming draws. We have enough lands, we don't need more lands. This is a 4 toughness, yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Utopia Sprawl. Onto Lush Portico. Do it like that. Okay, so next turn we'll have 5 mana, which is great. We don't really have anything to do with it, but we are doing the thing. That's fine. That wasn't a mana creature, that was a land ramping creature. Another reason to run land ramping creatures because it doesn't matter if they die. They already did their thing as soon as they entered the battlefield. Okay. I'm okay getting rid of regrowth here.
And for what? Don't overthink things.
Nice. Too bad it's not the hasty one. It will be a bummer to run this out and just get Liliana, so maybe we don't do that. Hold on. So we can play this if we get a red source, and then we can play this and kill their Liliana. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Well, not kill it, but maybe we wait. It's a sorcery. Never mind. We can't wait. Maybe we just hold it, since we can't kill Liliana. I don't know. Here's my thought process. I wish we had more cards in hand. If we fire this off, obviously this gets Liliana to 1. But then they'll have no option but to tick up, which makes us discard our Vorinclex. If we don't do anything, they're going to minus Liliana, and we'll lose our Emperor, but we'll keep our cards. And this isn't instant speed, so it's not like I can fire this off. But I think we just do that. We just force their hand. I'd rather keep this Vorinclex, and even if they tick up, I can just discard this. So I think it's awkward, but this is the better way to play the turn. Sure, okay. I love Languish, such a good card. That's okay. We don't mind our commander dying. It's not the best, but
I'm tired of your secrets.
Yeah, I guess it'll be you. It's better than since we get it back, it's not the worst, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. They have 1 card in hand, so let's keep that in mind. Liliana's really annoying, but they have 1 card in hand. We have all the mana fixing we need, so I'll just take the value Surveil land and go from there. They're definitely going to -2 here. There's no way they don't. Yeah.
I've always hated crowds.
But they still haven't gotten their commander down. Okay, there you go. Resolve. Let's do this first. I don't know if I have any Surveil lands left in the deck. I think I do. Yeah, okay. Let's Surveil. Mirari's Wake. Well, I think we keep that. Yeah, let's get rid of the forest. They're tapped out so they can't counter it. Grixis can't really interact with enchantments. So we'll do it like this. And now we're empty-handed. We get another Surveil trigger, so we get to set up... Ooh, Primeval Titan. So, 1... How much is this tap for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I will have 13, right? 6 plus 5 is 11. I'll have enough to cast this and this next turn. This will gain haste because of my commander. And it has trample. So yeah, we'll definitely keep Primeval Titan on top. Hopefully they don't have a way to make me mill the top of my deck. You never know with Grixis. I don't have any cards, so you're just going to make yourself discard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't have enough mana yet. They have one card in hand. Nice. Okay, let's go get our value lands. Plaza, for when they eventually try to remove my stuff. Okay, that was pretty good.
When they hit back.
Mirari's Wake, man. Hell of a card. Wow, we actually won! No way. Oh my goodness. Well, okay. I think that just goes to show, you know, the strategy I was talking about in the beginning of the video. Now, of course, we didn't board wipe, but it was the same strategy. Ramp, 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 get a lot of mana, then we do our thing, right? And that's essentially the way I built the deck. Because once we have enough mana, the value is too good. Even against a Grixis control deck where they like removed all of our stuff over and over again. Nice. Yeah, let's get into game 2. I love Ka. One of my favorite Brawl commanders. We essentially just don't want this thing to get to the emblem. Once it gets to the emblem, it's pretty tough to beat. We'll get a surveil land. I think right now we're looking for ramp, so we'll go ahead and bin that. I also grabbed a green-white surveil land because I have another white source here and here technically, so I was trying to set up my cleansing Nova just in case you're curious, and I have a red source right here, so the green-white land was the one that I went and got. Let's see if they have like a lightning bolt or something. They should. This should be like a mono red control deck. But maybe not. Whenever a player casts their first multicolored spell, it's a weird card in this deck. I don't have a lot of multicolored spells. I have a lot of spells that are different colors, but this is mono white, this is mono green. This is obviously multicolored, but maybe it's just for the weird card advantage of people's commanders. I don't know. That's a weird one. But I think we just set up here. So let's get our other white source down, and let's just get down Panarwanica. There's still 2 turns away from playing Koth or Rest Forge. That's a nice one. We have ways of getting rid of artifacts. In fact, we have the Cleansing Nova right here, so we could blow up all their artifacts. Actually, this is an artifact too. Oh, that would be devastating. Let's get another green source. Do we just do that? I mean, Koth can come down and blow up our Tender Wild guys, so it probably doesn't have long to live. Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Oh, except it blows up our mana Chronicon. That's why not to do it. Oh well. That's okay. This thing spirals out of control, so it's better to get rid of it now. Oh, it looks like they're missing a land drop. So that's good for us. We got lucky. Oh, and they didn't hit it again? Okay, we got lucky there. Definitely got lucky. Okay, so let's... We don't want to miss land drops. I would love to keep this in my hand, but we don't have another land drop. We'll plot this so that we get the trigger next turn. We'll play Llanowar Elf, and then let's put a +1/+1 counter on this. Just make it harder for them to kill. Winter Moon. Okay, fair enough. We have 2 basics. Yeah, see this the bone crusher can't kill this now. Let's untap you. So we'll do it like this and like this. Doesn't really matter. Again, I think it's more important here to make this harder to kill. Red really struggles with high toughness creatures. So while we're under 0 pressure, might as well get there. Koth can come down and kill either my commander or this guy. Obviously, you can kill this guy too. But then it starts to get harder for them. And since they're out of lands, they might just go get a land. Alright. I guess they feel like that's too much card draw. Do it this way. Okay, begin anew. Well, let's just kill this guy while we can.
It's all ashes and rust.
We couldn't attack with this guy, so we needed the extra green. Triggers off Emperor. Double white. We have a red source. We have 2 greens. So I guess we'll just get more forests. It's another basic land that we don't have to worry about untapping with Winter Moon. Titan, regain haste. Let's just start getting more doubling up. Now we really don't need to worry about the Winter Moon, so we can do that and that. And now let's get our value lands. We could get a Surveil land and Plaza. You don't need more lands. Would you like to take 10? I think they could have made that indestructible, couldn't they? Oh no, they needed 1 mana. Oof. Rash Taunter's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need more green sources, so I guess it's this guy. Oh yeah, I guess we should just get more basics, huh? Because of the Winter Moon. And then Brash Taunter does damage to me? Yeah, I don't care about that. And then get down the Scrap Gorger. No trigger. I mean, there was a trigger, but nothing happened because it doesn't fit any of the criteria. And one in the turn, they're down to 6, so what can they do with 5, potentially 6 mana? Okay, play a blocker. What does this do? Oh, specialize. I don't even want to read it. That's the worst mechanic ever invented. Let's see if we have any surveils left. We do. I mean, that works, right? That's lethal. Yeah. Keep. Does it matter? I don't think so. We have so many basics now. Yep. Don't care about the effect. I'll take the 2 damage. Get rid of something. I think they're dead. Math is for blockers, though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're dead. GG. Alright. So that was another good example of a game where we had the ability to board wipe, but we didn't need to, right? We just held it in our hand. And if their board ever got out of control or something like that, we could have board wipe. And then we also got to use our modal board wipe, Cleansing Nova, and early on destroy, 2 important artifacts for them. Yeah, we blew up our own Panharmonicon, which was kind of hilarious, but could you imagine if we had kept that Panharmonicon, how insane that game would have been? But the Urabrass Forge is definitely something you don't want to keep on the battlefield. I mean, if anyone who plays Standard knows that card spirals out of control really quick. So whether or not we needed to do that at that point, maybe not. We could have probably waited a little bit longer, but the point is the same. The way that the deck is designed is working. Get a lot of mana, throw a lot of stuff down. That one card that we plotted, right, that was cool because we got to pay the mana on one turn and cast it for free later and still get the triggers. So the deck is doing the thing. Ramp, green source. We get to go first. I think this is a keep. This is a fun deck. If you've never seen this deck or played this deck, I have a couple videos on it. Really cool mono blue commander. Not your typical mono blue counter everything kind of deck. It's much more cool than that. So let's try to win this game. We also have a green source here, but I'd like to keep this card. So we'll Verdant Catacombs. We'll go get a white-green source. Pay 2 life, untaps. Kami. Turn 1 land ramp. It has to enter tap, so we don't want to pay the 2 life. There we go. Okay. Let's play our land. Glimpse the core, go get a forest. As you can see, our land ramping plan is pretty good. They have 1 land, we have 4. Okay, Mind Stone. Ooh, Radagast, that's nice. So, do we ramp more, or do we get down some stuff? I think... Ooh, 4 lands. We really want to start getting stuff down, especially while they're down, like they don't have mana up to counter stuff. But ideally, I mean, I wish we had 1 more mana, because then we could get Roxanne down. Or I guess did we already play a land? No, we didn't. Okay, sweet. That's the play. Because this gives us more mana. So now we can get a threat on the board and create more mana. We didn't want to stop our ramp plan. We really want the ramp, right? It's important to this deck. So now, from the opponent's perspective, they have a couple things they got to deal with. They, one, just have to hit their land drops and deploy their stuff. But now they've got 5 power on the board they got to deal with in a mono blue deck, so mass bounce might be the only way to do it. I'm sitting at 7 mana. This counts for 2 because of Roxanne's ability. So, oh no. So they have a bunch of things that they have to deal with, right? Not to mention that this is doing 2 damage to them every turn. Okay, well, we're gonna attack no matter what. So let's do that first. I think we just get down Mirari's Wake. Tap target creature. Okay, fair enough. Draw a card. Alright, they're tapped out. Perfect time to get down Mirari's Wake. Mono Blue has basically no way to interact with enchantments. Also buffs our creatures, which is a nice little bonus. Funny Mirari's Awake story. So I was talking to a pro player from back in the day. This is like the 2000s, Mirrored and Block, or Odyssey, one of those two. And he actually won a tournament back in the day with Mirari's Wake, and it was essentially an Azorius control shell, and you splashed green to be able to play Mirari's Wake. But you would, you know, Azorius control your way to get down Mirari's Wake, and then you would float all your mana, and you would cast Upheaval, which is like a 6 mana mono blue spell that says return all permanents to their owner's hand, so like all your permanents, including your lands and stuff. But since you had Mirari's Wake on your side, you'd have all this mana floating, so you'd redeploy your whole hand, and your opponent would have no board. And I just thought that was so funny, like what a messed up deck. But yeah, he won a professional event back in the day with that deck. It's pretty cool. Okay, Vanquish the Horde. Nope, we're good on board, so we don't need Vanquish the Horde. We have double mana right now. They have 2 mana up. They might want to kill our Roxanne here, so let's give them the trade. Attack first, because they got 2 mana up. They're going to let me have the mana rock and the trigger. In that case, let's put it on the roaming throne since we have so much mana. Resolve. We want to pay the ward with this because Mirari's Wake only doubles lands. It doesn't double meteorites or mana rocks. So we'll tap this for double black. Pay the ward. So now if they block Kami, it dies. Obviously if they block Roxanne, it dies as well. So let's see what they do. Or you can just take 7. They're gonna take 7. They obviously have something they're holding up because they priority keeps getting hung up on them. Commander? You can counter it if you want. I can just replay it. I have enough mana. They're thinking about it. I would love for them to counter it. Take a counterspell out of their hand. They only have 4 cards in hand. They don't have any card advantage. This is card advantage eventually, but not right now. They're counting my mana. Yep. I still have 7 mana left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh-huh. Okay. Sure. You got it, buddy. Again. Since they countered it, it makes me think they don't have a mass bounce spell either. Unless they just drew one. Because why would you counter it if you had a mass bounce spell? Depending on how this goes, this might be a game that we have to vanquish the Horde our own board. But that's okay, we got all the stuff. We got all the setup we need. It's pretty good. I mean, this is probably the best card in their deck. Alright, so the way we're gonna do this attack all. See if they want to block. See if they have any instant speed stuff they want to fire off. It's an almost lethal attack, so I would recommend blocking with something. Especially these guys. Uh-huh. Okay. I thought they might make a much bigger board than that. I think we surveil here. We have a ton of mana. Yeah, we don't want more lands. That's a good surveil. Well, let's see if they got counter magic. They should definitely counter this. And if they do counter this, then we can blow up their board. We need to get rid of that roaming throne ASAP. Okay. So they're going to make a ton of roaming thrones. Okay, and they did counter it. Perfect. Okay. I mean, it's not exactly what we want, but now we have the opening to vanquish the Horde. Get rid of a basic forest. Go get 2 more forests. And replay our commander. Didn't even think I'd be able to do that, but there we go. So now they have their commander, which they can play, and 2 cards in hand. And they have 6 life. So they have 1 card in hand. Yeah, they're going to draw. They can't play their commander now. Right? This doesn't have for... Oh, no, it does. Never mind. Okay. Not really what we wanted. I'd recommend blocking. Okay. Alright. Well, if they make another gigantic board, this might be useful, so it's not great right now, but Plaza. If we could draw like any of our creatures, that would be super cool. I'm just going to keep attacking. They have to block. And I can just replay my commander. I have tons of mana. If I get Balagid recovery, I can get back Roxanne and burn them out. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters or attacks, draw a card. Okay, sure. Okay, is this a Phyrexian? No. Weird. Okay, sure. They're empty-handed. Oh, that's it. That's GG. We'll just do it for 5 to make sure. No tricks. Yep. Good game, blue player, good game. Alright, cool. So, let's do a deck review. I'm not sure how long the video's gone, but it feels like we got some, like, at least 3 solid games in. And the intro is kind of longer than normal. So that last game, I think, was a great example of, we drew one of our Wraths, the Vanquish the Horde, right? And when we drew it, it was something we wanted. It was a dead card in our hand, right? However, as the game went on, it became apparent, like, hey, we got to get rid of this roaming throne. If we let them make 15 roaming thrones, we're going to lose this game, right? So we waited to the perfect opportunity where they tapped out. They'd countered our creature anyway, and we just destroyed their board, and they couldn't get back from that point, right? So even though it seems, like I was saying in the intro, even though it seems counterintuitive to have board wipes in this deck, it actually is really great, because if the scales ever tip against you, right, like they did in that game, we were actually winning that game, and then they got roaming thrown down, and it instantly started to turn it in the other direction, and they were starting to win the game. Well, we can just board wipe the board. We have a ton of mana, so we can rebuild way better than they can. And, you know, they only had, like, what, 6 life left, so we just needed to find a way through. And we did. So I think the deck has just the right touch of versatility to get through most of the different kinds of decks in the Brawl queue. As you saw, what did we play? Nicol Bolas, right? Grixis Control. Then what did we play? We played Koth, right? And then we played Orvar. 3 extremely different kinds of decks. So I think this version is very what's the word? It's adaptable. It has the ability to play different kinds of decks and draw cards that are versatile to get you through different kinds of situations. Like I said in the intro, what I found was when I did the original style of deck where it was just trying to get Emperor down as fast as possible and try to be faster than the opponent, it wasn't versatile enough. Like, the commander would get removed and then we were out of the game. Or we would come up against a deck that was just faster than us, and we would lose because we weren't able to mana fix fast enough and get down our big beaters fast enough. So this strategy of big mana, ramp, blow up the board, do all our cool stuff, has worked very well for me so far. So go ahead and try it out. Deck list is in the description. Thank you again for requesting this deck. If you would like to request a deck for me to review or build, go ahead and join the Discord. It's in the description. There's a request a deck channel. Just pop in there, say what's up, and let me know what you'd like to see. So yeah, that's the deck. If you have any questions about different kinds of different kinds of card selection, like there's a particular card that you're like, why is that in the deck? Go ahead and ask, like this is a good example. This blows up non-basic lands. Sometimes there's like a Lotus Field or something like that, like a hexproof land that you just want to get rid of. It completely wrecks the opponent. It happened the other day. they had one land and a Lotus field, and I drew this and blew it up. And so they had one land left. You know, they instantly scooped. Just stuff like that. If you have questions about the different kinds of cards in this deck or general strategy, just leave a comment in the video and I'll be happy to answer it. All right, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all the things, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.